Matt Faircloth. As you may know, I am one of the new hosts of the Best Ever CRE Show. That show is the longest daily running commercial real estate show ever. Founded by my man Joe Fairless, and my shows come out every Fridays, so make sure you subscribe to Best Ever CRE and listen on Fridays. This video is a compilation of all the best interviews we've had for the Best Ever Show over the last 5 months. Stuff from Brian Burke, Pace Morby, and other great conversations on the Best Ever shows. We've created a little compilation so you can check out all the nuggets from those shows right here in this video. So let's get going and check out the best ever of Best Ever.
There's another question you have that was one of my favorite questions I've ever been asked, which is, are banks necessary? And I argue for the longest time, don't use a bank, don't use a bank, don't use a bank. But behind the scenes, I'm using banks all the time. After my sub 2 and seller finance deals, I've had them for 7 years or 10 years. They've appreciated. I've paid them down, all of those things. I go, I got a lot of equity in here. How do I get my equity out? And so I'll go to the bank and I'll get a DSCR loan and I'll refinance and strip out all that equity tax-free. So for me, even in creative finance, I've been using banks to get access to my cash without selling the asset. And so, yes, I think banks are necessary at some point. And somebody might go, I'm going to create an organization that's not a bank, and I'm going to do those types of refinance loans. I'm like, okay, then you're a bank.
I have a PhD from the School of Hard Knocks. Yeah. Everything I learned when I was making a mistake. And I'll tell you one thing. People think that you learn from other people's mistakes. They think that you learn from reading books. They think that you learn from your successes. You don't learn crap from any of that stuff. When you learn, you pay attention when you're losing money. When things are not going well and you're losing money, you are paying very close attention to what is going on.
Better believe it.
And you are going to learn some really significant lessons. And that's how this business works. And that's why I say, if you start smaller, you'll learn your lessons a little bit easier and cheaper, and it won't cost you 10x a Harvard education to get your PhD in the School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah. This business can hit back hard in that, and those punches all have lessons baked into them.
But Art, man, listen, you're like the most spry, vibrant, almost 70-year-old I've ever met, man. And that's, let's start. I know this is not a workout show. But it also, you got to keep the body vibrant so you can keep the brain vibrant so you can keep the business vibrant, right? So tell me real quick, what do you do to, give me a little taste of what it is that Arn does to stay spry physically?
Well, you're all going to think I'm crazy, but
I already do.
Yeah. But basically, wake up, have 2 cups of coffee, 2 pieces of toast, and I head to the rec center here in Greenville, South Carolina, where I live. And the typical workout's about 4 hours every morning, from cardio to yoga to HIIT to CrossFit, weightlifting. So just kind of a routine that I've had the last 10 years. And even when I was working as a full-time broker, I usually average about 2.5 hours a day. And I always do it first thing in the morning. And when we bump into conferences, we're both up early. It's probably 6 a.m., 5:30 in the morning, because we got to get our workout in before we get to work. So it's kind of a daily routine, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
So QBI for short, or that's what us CPA nerds call it.
You all you CPAs love to abbreviate this stuff. Everything
Acronyms, right?
Doesn't it? Okay. All right. Go ahead with your acronym.
It's funny because when we hire new team members, we have a whole sheet of acronyms. Like, that's your first assignment, is to memorize what all these mean.
I was extremely careful on the investing side and did lower volume of investing than normal because of my concern over recession. Then, of course, the government came in, pandemic happened, government came in, printed trillions of dollars. And that, in my mind, postponed the recession that most likely was going to happen, more from a probability perspective, was most probably going to happen at that point. And so essentially, I've been sitting on the sidelines since 2017. It's been a very long time. And I've been very defensive for many years now. And it's funny because even today, which I believe we're finally going to come up on the recession that I think has been postponed, we could talk about. Even today, I was literally yesterday telling somebody that this appears to be a good time to sell because we haven't had the recession yet. We haven't had a stock market crash yet. And I'm actually in a few mobile home parks in a fund that are selling. I'm actually happy about the timing, which I know sounds odd to some people, but I just see liquidity being much more constrained in the next 6 to 12 months than it is today.
Because Matt, you got to understand, the economy has sucked. Now, talk about, recession, blah, 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 put whatever label you want it. I'm just calling it sucked for at least 18 months. And it's really about 24 months at this point. But nobody wants to admit it. Nobody wants to admit it. We're all just kind of skating around being like, oh,
We want to pretend the party's still going. Yeah,
Pretend
party's
the
still going,
party's still
guys. It's all
happening.
good. The bar's still open. It's not last call yet. It's fine.
Exactly. Yeah, they're gonna let us stay open. We just got to move to New York City where the bars are up until 4. But
Right.
But the party's over. The party is over. The free money is gone, and now the government is trying to figure out how to. I don't know what they're doing, man. I don't want to get into politics here, but I do think we're going to see a new crop of people coming in, and they're going to be hungry, and they're going to push out all these people that have been sitting around on the sidelines, and those people are just going to start disappearing and going back to work or whatever they're doing, and we're going to have a whole new. It's the new folks' time to shine. I'm excited about it.
Do you really want to do this? Because if you just think you do because other people want to have a social media platform and you're jealous they have followers, that's one thing. But if you're like, you actually enjoy educating or coaching or filming content or the idea of having conversations with the intent of just giving your information and knowledge to other people, then okay, you might actually do this. But if you just envy Ryan Pineda's following, then you're not going to last.
If you envy Ryan Pineda's following, or the longest best beard in real estate investing's following, or Dave Perez's following, or anybody's following, right? Be careful what you wish for, okay? Understand, people that follow you are not going to just follow you. Yeah. They're going to start asking you questions. They're going to want to reach out.
If you don't already know me, don't ask me, can we chat for 5 minutes? I hate that. Who are you? What are you offering? Oh, I don't have time for this. I'm a part-time investor. I'm a chemist. I wrote a book on happiness. I do strategic business analysis. I do investing. My time and money are much more valuable than you have any clue. So now, if you know me, yeah, I'll give you 5 minutes.
What you're doing is you're saying, hey, can I waste your time with something that may not be for you? Can I suck an hour of your day out for no purpose? To Mark's point, if you can send over the one pager and Mark says, yeah, you know what? This is actually interesting. I'd like to hear more. Then maybe take them out to coffee after they look at your one pager or after they hear about your deal ahead of time.
Show me the one pager. Are we even in the ballpark on preferred return and equity split? Are we even in the ballpark on when that's going to come in? If not, we're done. And you know what? I might be interested in your deal 6 years from now. But don't ruin the relationship right now by saying, hey, but I really insist.
Was that when there was an earthquake? Was that when we were under contract and an earthquake hit? In North Carolina? It doesn't happen in North Carolina. It did when we were under contract to buy a property. How about that?
In the previous 120 years in an earthquake. And I wasn't even thinking about it. But I forgot about the earthquake. But you're right, the earthquake happened.
That's not where you were going to go?
What sold it for me is how the gentleman in our community named Sam, I found out through her that he had cancer and he had to go through chemo and such. And we granted a dream to him. We provided him free rent. And that's really cool. It's really cool as the owner to be able to provide free rent and help this gentleman. But what she went on to tell me that I didn't know, but this is the kind of stories I get to be a part of all the time, which is so cool. She said Sam was not going to go into chemo. He was just going to let himself die. He didn't think he had anything to live for anymore. And he said the fact that somebody he had never met before wanted to help him, was willing to provide him with free housing, willing to provide him with support, gave him a reason to live. But then the really powerful thing is people on site in that community then became aware through the Dream On, his situation, and people took him to doctor's appointments. People came in and cooked him food. People came and helped him clean his apartment. Really how you have a thriving community, a place where people are living fully, is you have residents serving residents. Anything we do as an organization should just be what gets the wheel started. It's residents serving residents.